if you have the information to help you make up your mind, you can make that decision from your highest and best self. Welcome. I'm Linda Kroll, and I've been doing this work for over 35 years. I'm an internal family systems therapist. I'm a Chopra Certified Teacher of Meditation, Yoga, and Ayurveda. And I'm also a mediator and an attorney and the author of Compassionate Mediation, How to Add Passion to Your Marriage and Compassion to Your Divorce. And in my 35 years of working with individuals and couples, my heart always goes out to all of them, but I find the ones that are in the most pain are the ones that can't decide what they want to do. I was where you are right now. I was married to my college sweetheart for 20 years. We had a wonderful relationship. And when it looked like it was having problems that we couldn't resolve, I stayed in limbo for a very long time in that, should I stay or should I go? And I told myself I was doing my family a favor because I wasn't making any decisions. But unfortunately, it put a toll on our relationship. It put a toll on our family. And I think it would have been serving to all of us had we been able to make up our minds sooner. So I created a program, I created a training, and I'm here to help you make up your mind, not necessarily tonight, but to begin to see how to do it. And I'll give you a hint. The way to get to your decision is to take better care of yourself. And what I mean by that is a lot of people who are stuck try to decide, do I want to stay or do I want to go? And as soon as I decide, I'll feel better. But it's the other way around. See what you can do to feel better, and then your decision will come to you. Because Rumi says, we're not just the drop in the ocean, we're the ocean in the drop. And what that means is when we're in a relationship and we're triggered and we're trying to communicate, what happens is sometimes we're grumpy. Sometimes we have problems communicating. And of course, you can be grumpy. But when you start to hide your feelings in ways that make you pretend everything is okay, but you're really sitting on a lot of old stories and resentments and frustrations and criticism and blame, take a deep breath. When you're stuck there, it's hard to get clear on what you want to do. And no matter what your story is right now, no matter if you're happy and you want to make it better, no matter if you're stuck and not sure what you want to do, you'll learn things that'll help you even if you're separated. Or if you're in the middle of a divorce or even past your divorce, there are things you can learn when you take better care of yourself that will help you begin to make the right decision. Just ask yourself, in your relationship now, or in your job now, or in your friendship now, it's not what you're doing, it's who you are being. And are you being your best self right now? Because most of us aren't. And I mentioned that sometimes we're grumpy. So when we're grumpy, we say things, but it's not always what we say, it's how we say it. And when we're speaking from a reactive part with those judgments and blames and resentments and our walls up, it lands on our partner or our friend or our coworker in ways that make them defensive and make them reactive. So what we want to do is come from your highest and best self and begin to calmly and confidently talk about all the issues that are leading you to be indecisive about what you want to do next. Now, we all have certain needs. We have 4 needs of the heart. We need attention, we need affection, we need appreciation, and we need acceptance. And when we're not getting that, we get defensive and we put walls up around our heart. And we judge our partner through the filter of he always does that, she never does this. And we get to a place where we can't really forgive or appreciate because we're too busy judging. As you take better care of yourself, you give yourself the attention, the affection, the appreciation, and the acceptance that you need. It means you learn how to compassionately communicate about everything. And what compassionate communication means is you connect to your highest self. You connect to that self that is calm, clear, and compassionate. You let go of those limiting beliefs and judgments and all that baggage you're carrying around. You unburden the pain from your past. You don't take it with you in your future, and you don't stay stuck as to what happened in the past. And most of all, you relate from your heart. And when you relate from your heart, miracles happen. And again, remember, love is the answer, but it starts with loving yourself. How can you be more loving with yourself right now? What can you do to take better care of yourself right now? Because when you start taking better care of yourself, you can make better decisions. Let's try some right now. Let's take a deep breath and go inside and just notice the parts of you that are confused, the parts of you that don't know what you want to do, and what you're going to allow yourself to think about what it would mean to take better care, eat well, exercise regularly, practice more awareness, acceptance, and forgiveness of both yourself and your partner. You can heal pain from the past, and you can stay grateful for your blessings. And you could actually go from heartache to hope to healing to happiness. You can make the changes you want. Let's begin with thinking about what is the best way to bring your best self into your relationship now. What do you want to convey to your partner? First of all, what do you want to convey to yourself? And can you journal it? Can you write it down? Can you talk to a therapist? Can you get into counseling? Because when you use the process of compassionate mediation, what you do is you begin to look at all aspects of your relationship. And I have a roadmap that I made, both for individuals and couples, and also for professionals. So if you're a professional watching this, a therapist, a mediator, a coach, clergy, counselor, attorney, you can learn compassionate mediation and offer it to your clients. And this roadmap is available to you, and I'll tell you how to get it. What you do in compassionate mediation is to be your best self. So what does that mean? How do you change the story that you're telling yourself and understand that you've both done the best you knew how to do until now, but you can make different choices. And when you make different choices, it means you talk about everything. You even talk about the part that doesn't know if it wants to stay or go. You have the courage, when you get to your higher self, to communicate courageously and compassionately, clearly and calmly. And that's the first step. The second step is to learn how to compassionately communicate. And what that means is you take better care of yourself. You create a vision for your future that allows you to see what you want, not what you don't want. You look at the 5 steps to get what you want and need, and those 5 steps are to know what you want and need, know you deserve what you want and need, ask for what you want and need, be willing to receive it, and stay grateful. And then you practice the miracle of empathy. And what is empathy? Empathy is when you listen from your highest self. When you start to pay attention to what your partner is saying, but you do it in a way that they feel heard and validated. And this works if you're talking to a friend. You begin to see their experience from their eyes and pay attention to that. And then you validate it. You validate it by letting the other person know that you understand that whatever is going on between the two of you is hard for both of you. It's challenging for them. They may be hurt. They may be sad. They may be scared. They may be angry. But when you hear them and then you understand them, the next part is to empathize. And in all my counseling, all my individual and couples counseling, it's amazing what one honest apology can do. So when you can say you're sorry for something you did or didn't do that caused pain, it really can save thousands of dollars in attorney fees. It can minimize damage to your children. It can create an atmosphere for positive change, and it can truly create the relationship you desire and deserve. And let's talk a minute about children. If you have children, you don't want them to suffer. If you have children, they know everything. So even if you're not talking to each other, but you're trying to relate in ways that minimize conflict, but you've really got that wall up and you're really confused and stuck, they know what's going on. They pick up the energy between the two of you. And I often say that if we could protect our children from the shrapnel of our animosity, there'd be a lot more healing and happier families. So again, you can talk about an ending. You can talk about a part of you that isn't sure what you want to do. But at the same time, you consider what a new beginning would look like. And you consider what a new beginning would look like by exploring all your options. So what does that mean to explore your options? It goes back to deciding what are the 5 things I want to know about what I want. Do I know what I want instead of what I don't want? Do I know I deserve it? And that's a biggie because we don't always know we deserve it. And what can I do to learn more about asking? Because if I know what I want, finally remember, if I know I deserve it and work through any limiting beliefs around that, then my ask becomes a request instead of a demand or a whine or an ultimatum. And you can ask for what you want and need. And then you give the other person the permission to say yes or no. And then you negotiate from there. And then if they're willing, you receive what you can, you stay grateful, and you negotiate a whole new relationship. But you first have to explore all your options, because if you don't know what your options are, you stay stuck. You stay in that should I stay or should I go? So sometimes an option is going to therapy. Sometimes an option is going to marriage counseling. Sometimes an option is having date night or planning a walk together or planning to talk to each other 10 minutes a day that you don't do now. So there's lots of options that you can explore. But you want to be able to talk about everything. You want to be able to talk about your finances, your parenting, your sex life, how you relate to your parents, how you relate to workload. You want to be able to talk about that and talk about the options. You want to talk about your finances. You want to know what your rights and responsibilities are, no matter what you choose to do. And you want to talk about parenting. So you'll explore your options, you'll understand your rights and finances, and you'll prepare for your future. This has been a kind of an introduction into what compassionate mediation can do. And the reason I wanted to share it with you is because I found that when people learn how to speak from their highest and best self about the parts that are conflicted, and in internal family systems, we talk about your best self being that calm, clear, compassionate center. And doing your own work to get there, to see what you do in terms of exiling feelings that you're not discussing, or ways that you're managing to get through your life that aren't feeling authentic, or the ways that you get extreme in order to defend yourself. You begin to understand your own parts and your partner's parts, or your friend's parts, or your coworker's parts. And you have compassion for both of you, because it's in that compassionate communication that you start to talk about your issues, you start to look at possibilities, you start to negotiate a new beginning. And sometimes that new beginning may lead, if you're married or in a relationship, it may lead to a separation, or it may lead to an ending. I believe that families need not be broken, but can be peacefully and respectfully restructured. I have a free chapter of my book so that you can begin to learn what self in parts is like. So go to lindakrollbook.com and you get a free chapter and get to see how you can bring more self-leadership to your life right now. And I'd also like to share with you how to get your free compassionate communication care kit. You get a guided meditation to get to self. What is self and how do you get there? There's a 7-minute guided meditation that will show you what it feels like to come from that calm, clear, compassionate center. And then there's a 4-minute video on what compassionate communication is, how to connect to your best self, let go of your limiting beliefs, unburden pain from the past and relate from your heart. There's a relationship assessment in the care kit where you can begin to make changes now. And there's a roadmap for you to use individually or as a couple. And there's also a roadmap if you're a professional to learn how to make changes and help your clients make these changes now. When you do this work, you actually do begin to transform. And you transform because you're now bringing your higher self into your relationship. You're not bringing your reactive parts. And what you're able to do is you're able to be more forgiving to yourself and to your partner. Together, we can change the face of divorce and conflict in general, one heart at a time. Remember, love is the answer, but it starts with loving yourself. So what can you do today to be more loving to yourself? What can you do today to figure out what you want and need? What can you do today to process your feelings, either alone with a therapist, with a mediator, with someone who knows compassionate mediation? But begin to know that when you learn compassionate communication, you're going to connect to your best self. You're going to let go of limiting beliefs. You're going to unburden pain from the past, and you're going to relate from your heart. And it's from your heart that all of those miracles happen. I told myself there had to be a better way. There had to be a better way to disconnect from someone you once loved. And I remember sitting in the courtroom from my beloved soon-to-be ex-husband and knew that if we could just find a way to relate to our hearts, to remember the love we once had, and for the benefit of our children and the benefit of ourselves and our future, really learn how to compassionately communicate. And even if only one person learns how to do this, it makes a difference. So if you're the only one who can be your best self, let go of your judgments, don't carry your pain, and open your heart, changes will happen and you will get clear. So if I can help you in any way, you can contact me. I can help you individually, I can help you in groups, and I'd love to see you in the Compassionate Communication group. I thank you for joining me, and I'm sending you a lot of love and a lot of inspiration to first take care of yourself, and then your answers will come, because you'll tap in to your soul. As Rumi said, we're not just the drop in the ocean, we're the ocean in the drop. So take a breath, meditate, journal, be grateful, take care of yourself, and then your answers will come. And I'm here to help in any way I can. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.